Look at that moon! Sunset! Moon! Sunset! Moon! Speaking of moon, I think we're just trotting something. I know I said I wasn't going to do a video this week, but I've spent the entire day sat in front of a computer and it's gorgeous outside and I'm going to go out and it's as simple as that. And I know where I'm going to go and I've got a plan and I'll tell you more when I'm there. It is so hot out here. My bedroom's got its own little microclimate. I had no idea how hot it was. It's gorgeous, as you can imagine, and I've come out to the back part of Devil's Dyke. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I don't know what that is. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've been here before. There's lots of interesting different spots along the way. When I first started doing my landscape walks, it was the start of lockdown, and I just came out on a whim and took whatever photos I wanted. Now, bearing that in mind and bearing in mind how much landscape photography I've done since, I think I can do better this time round. So let's see how this goes. I don't know if you can hear this, but hopefully the camera's picking it up. I've never heard so many crickets. Never heard this much volume from insects in the grass. It's really peaceful. When I was last here, I took a lot of shots in this area. There was a boggy marsh and I tried a lot of things. Obviously with the heat it's dried up. So that's one shot I'm not getting today. The benefit of the dried up boggy marsh though is this. I was here last time as well and I couldn't get down this slope because it was so muddy that one slip, and again this picture isn't going to do it justice, but it's really, really steep. So one slip and you're in the marsh. Of course it's a lot drier now. So I'm going to go to the bottom because there's some really nice bits of sunlight coming through the trees and landing on bits of browny, greeny wood down there. So I'm going to go and check it out. The peace and the serenity of this place is amazing. I remember when I came out here before, I stopped towards the top of this slope. I just had to sit down there for about half an hour and it was gorgeous. And yeah, you can sort of hear the road in the distance, but all you can hear is nature. I'll be honest, I'm just quite happy being here on my own. I'm going to try one shot that may end up with me landing in the water. So the shot I had planned, realistically I couldn't get to it. I wanted to get on this thing here, but as you can see there's not much of a route to it. No pun intended. And all of these little branches are too thin to carry my weight, and also I'm a lummox. Maybe if I had some kind of balance I might be able to slowly make my way over there, but I don't, so there we go. What I have ended up doing is focusing on a low shot, so I've got the camera down here on the tripod. I get obsessed with these little bottoms of trees like that. I don't know what it is, there's something that I find fascinating about them, and you tend to get a whole range of shades of colours and the light falls on them in a really interesting manner. So I've taken a few shots from down below and let's see if something good comes out. I hope so. It's almost got a kind of alien-like quality to it. So the sun's starting to set now, so my next job is to go to the spot where I want to recreate a shot that I took last time I was here that has been my desktop background, which means I've been staring at it endlessly, and every time I stare at it I find something else that I don't like about it. So I'm going to have a look at that and see if I can recreate this shot a little better. Couldn't find the shot I took before. I think a lot's changed since I've been here, but I have managed to gain access to a bit of drier ground that I wouldn't have been able to get access to before. So swings and roundabouts. This is looking quite good so far. A little bit to do in post, a few distractions, but yeah, it's a nice little place, this. I don't think I got the shot I wanted. I think I'm going to start heading back and see if I can find some alternative shots at some locations that I've seen before but maybe wasn't there at the right time. The sun is setting nicely, so might get a bit of orange and blue light coming through in some interesting places. Got aliens and things on the mind at the minute. Look at this. I was walking by this and I just thought, wow, that actually looks like something from Alien vs Predator jumping out at you. Hopefully I can do it justice in the picture. I've always loved these sort of trees that are reaching across bits of water and things. This one's almost kind of got a climbing frame quality to it. Might be because someone's actually tried to make a climbing frame out of it. There's not an awful amount I can do here. There's not a huge amount I can do with the light that we've got, but hopefully I can create some kind of atmospheric image and do something with it in post that makes it look a little bit more interesting than... Yeah, famous last words. I didn't like any of the shots, hence they're not in the video. I decided instead that I was going to go back to the car and head home, but when I got to the car I realised that somehow I'd missed a gigantic hill on the opposite side of the road, and well, it was still quite warm and I was enjoying myself, so I decided to go for a bit of a wander. I decided when I got back to the car I'll just have a look at that hill on the other side of the road, and oh my god, does this hill go on. But look at that sunset, amazing. That moon, sunset, moon, sunset, moon. Speaking of moon, I think I just trod in something. Unfortunately, when I reached the top of the hill, I appear to have run into some technical difficulties. You see, none of the videos that I filmed at the top of the hill have saved, but here's the short version. I took a number of shots, some of a nice sunset across the hills, and some of the moon reflecting off the sea in the distance. None of them are groundbreaking. I wasn't particularly happy with any of them, but it was a nice opportunity to explore a new location at that time of night. This has at least kicked me into finally purchasing a camcorder, so I'm not constantly relying on my phone. Hopefully that'll be arriving this week, and therefore I'll be able to use it for next week's video. What I found quite interesting about this week was that despite the fact I knew where I was going, a lot of the shots had changed, either because of the water levels, or because people were there, or because of other reasons. For example, the shot I was trying to recreate in the lake was different because there was a lot more debris in the lake and the sun was setting in a slightly different location. These are really important things to learn, and I've often heard it said that if you go back to the same location time after time over the course of a year, you'll get lots of different shots because of the changing conditions, and I think this is something I'm going to do. Now next week I'm going to do something a little bit different. You see, I've just received my 8mm Samyang lens in the post. Now that is of course a fisheye lens. I've used it for some shots already. I took a impromptu walk out to Wolstonbury Hill when it arrived, and I wasn't intending to go further than down the country lane, but before I knew it I was in the woods and took a lot of shots that I actually quite liked, but I didn't have the rest of my equipment with me. I left my bag in the car, so I'm going to go back this time with all my equipment, with my tripod, and really spend a bit of time refining those shots and getting the shots that I want. So I'm going to do a similar thing next week and going back to a location that I've been before. Hopefully you'll join me. It'll be a bit of a test run for the lens as well. So if you've enjoyed this, as always, please leave me a like, leave me a comment, and make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next week.